What's up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz for a Sunday. You know it's a Sunday fun day around here. April 23rd, 2023, little 4/23/23 for you. I'm your host, Joe from the Buckeye Cast. Don't forget it's Sunday. You know what that means. YouTube Live, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Check it out. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. You get notified every time we go live or when a new video comes out, all that jazz. So please check it out. 8 p.m. Eastern, me, Jeff, and Sean, we talking. I don't know what we're going to talk about this week. Maybe a bunch of different things. Anyways, here we go. Today, it's recruiting talk. I know we're kind of moving the recruiting segments around, but there's a lot going on, especially once these official visits start coming up in June. Got camp season as well. So we'll keep you updated here. Today, though, the other day I talked offense. I believe that was Friday. We talked offense recruiting. Today we're talking defensive recruiting, and don't be so defensive about it. Anyway, I'm defensive about it because I really wish we could get some defensive commits. God damn. Okay, we got 2 commits on D right now, so that's 2. Got Kate Stover's cousin, Garrett. He committed back in November. As a linebacker. We know that. Peyton Pierce committed on April 11th. So that's 2 linebackers. All right. We're off to a blazing start. Pierce and Stover. So it's up to them to help build and recruit the rest of this defensive class, right? And so you guys are the first ones in. Let's start focusing in on some guys. So with the 2 they already have, this class could get up to 12 to 13. A ton of guys have visited, especially in the spring. So who are the defensive coaches focusing on? And who are we trying to get official visits from in June? So DN, let's start right there. DN is squarely in the crosshairs. Coach Jay, all due respect. And because I said all due respect, that means I can say whatever I want after that. No, I'm not gonna say anything negative. But I will say your position group, Coach Jay, is squarely under the microscope, in the crosshairs, whatever you want to say. Yeah, let's get into why. So in the 23 class, one big thing was missing from the Buckeyes class, and that was DNs, high-end DNs, right? Coach Johnson focused early on 3 defensive ends and missed out on all of them, all 5 stars. Big issue. So the Buckeyes had to they were forced to change their recruiting philosophy going forward. No more NIL focused kids, and then we're going to look to the Midwest when possible and recruit, our own backyard first. So when we talk about these kids, let's talk about watch what they do. Again, I say this a lot maybe, but watch what they do, not what they say. Ignore those top 10 lists that kids are putting out on social media. Ignore those requests for kids that want to blow up their social media account and get more followers. Ignore all that. And when they tweet at like a certain fan base like Ohio State or Florida or whoever, ignore all that crap. Pay attention. If you want to know who's serious about Ohio State, pay attention to who visited, especially this spring. Okay. Those players are the real priorities. And that tells you if they visited, there's like mutual interest. And if they're still in contact with the Buckeyes, there's mutual interest there. So you do have unusual situations, I will say, with 2 guys. Elias Rudolph, he moved from Cincinnati to Deerfield Beach, Florida, back in January. He has not visited technically. So odd situation. I'm not sure if he's going to school in Cincinnati to finish his senior year or if he's transferring down to Deerfield Beach. We'll see. Deerfield Beach is not a big program of any note. So I don't know. I would look somewhere else, but then there's Nigel Smith. He's already visited the Buckeyes 4 times in the last 2 years. Hasn't gotten an official visit yet. Both guys are on Ohio State's recruiting board, Smith is a major focus for Peyton Pierce. He lives right down the road from Peyton Pierce, according to Peyton Pierce. So you probably need 4 defensive ends in this class after taking none of the 5 stars, the 3 that we missed on. So high priority DNs, these are the names to know who have visited: Marquise Lightfoot, Dylan Stewart, Williams Nwaneri, Darian Mayo, Booker Pickett, and Edric Houston. All right. So keep those names in mind when we're talking guys that are serious. So Larry Johnson needs to get 2 or 3 from that group to rebound from last year's class. All have visits, have official visits scheduled or said they plan to take one, except for Nwaneri and Simmons. In-state kids that could earn an offer at a camp this summer are people like Dominic Kirks, Javon Hammonds, and Elijah King. So obviously, DNs, huge priority, got to get 3 to 4. Let's talk D tackle, huge need there as well. Still staying on Coach Johnson's back. Sorry, not really. Buckeyes could load up there too. It could go with 4 D tackles. They could lose up to 4 D tackles. They've only offered 6 true defensive tackles, but there are a bunch of strong side DNs that could possibly move inside if you throw a little weight on them. Chicago 5-star D tackle Justin Scott is probably the most highly sought after uncommitted D tackle in the class. He will take an official visit, but the Buckeyes have been trailing Notre Dame and others for most of his recruitment. So it doesn't look good for Justin Scott to Ohio State. But you got to try. Jaden Jackson from IMG down in Bradenton. He's a real priority. He's become a high priority for Coach Johnson. He is from originally Indianapolis, visited for the spring game last week, camped at Ohio State back in June of 2021. Okay. Other names to know: Aiden Breland, Ernest Wilnor from Florida, Sean Saviano, and he visited 2 weeks ago. So a bunch of questions there. We need dudes. We got to start building that depth back up. It's like I said, we could lose 4 after 2023. So let's talk linebackers. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here to get to 4 there as well. 3 to 4 probably is more realistic. So they got 2 already, and they're right in it for these 3 candidates. They're in it for these guys, but so Sammy Brown, Clemson's probably leading there. Kingston Viliamu Asa from California, I think we're squarely leading that one because we were the first to offer him. And then you got Edwin Spillman. He already has crystal balls to Tennessee. So I'm not sure, other than Kingston, if we're really in on any of those other guys. Now, you do have these other guys here, this list that have an offer. Solomon Williams from Florida, Nicholas Rodriguez, Adarius Hayes, also from Florida, Christopher Jones from Virginia, Justin Williams from Texas, and then from Georgia, Devin Smith. The current focus right now is on Rodriguez, Smith, and Hayes. Booker Pickett could be a potential fit if they're going to recruit for that jack position specifically. We also talked about him up there in the DNs. So it depends on how they want to use him, how much weight they can get on him, and stuff like that. So the goal right now would be to find another true linebacker and one that fits the jack position for this defensive staff. So look for at least one more linebacker commit at least, and that would probably be a true linebacker. So we'll see how things work out there. Plenty of dudes. And then let's talk corners. You guys know the names here, especially in state. So Buckeyes are looking at probably 4 corners here too. At least that's what they're targeting. Aaron Scott, Bryce West, got to keep those guys in Ohio. Can't let them venture up north or anywhere else. Tim Walton's done a really good job to this point of keeping holding off the other schools that are coming hard for Bryce West and Aaron Scott. But he's got to continue that fight right down to signing day. It's going to be a battle. So bunch of big time corners visited over the spring. You got Chucky Three Sticks, my guy Charles Lester III, but he does have crystal balls to Florida State, and he is a person that doesn't like to venture too far from home. Sarasota to Tallahassee is not exactly a walk in the park, but anyways, it's who knows. Kobe Black, love that name. Xavier Brown, I believe he's a huge Buckeye lean. Ife Obedekwu and Miles Lockhart, huge Buckeye lean if he hasn't committed yet. And then there's still some interest on both sides with California corners. Marcellus Williams, sorry. I always have to do that. And then Dakota Fields. Fields is supposed to make an official visit to Columbus this summer. Buckeyes are still evaluating some other in-state guys, Tyron Nichols and Coy Beasley. He could be an option at safety, both those guys. So bringing in 4 corners would be ideal for the Buckeyes in this cycle. Again, we got to rebuild. We got to restock the shelves here on this side of the ball. So on safeties, focusing on few safeties, but one big safety has to fall in Columbus. So Perry Eliano had a good first recruiting class in 2023. It brought in 3 guys, missed on Caleb Downs, the 5-star. So far, they've offered almost a dozen safeties. Could take 3 in this class. But at the top of the list is KJ Bolden. It's hard to beat Georgia for a kid from Georgia. That's not easy. Then you got to mix in Alabama and Clemson. So not an easy task there for Perry, but you got to go all in. Also should be noted that he is his cousin. He's Perry's cousin. Reggie Powers, also an in-state guy with an offer, should be committing to Ohio State any day, in my opinion. Then you got some other big names: Peyton Woodyard, Jordan Johnson-Rubel, Zaquan Patterson, Jalen McClain, Jacob Good, and Jacob Good is also a teammate of Aaron Nolan. So keep that in mind. He has visited Ohio State for the spring. And some other guys with offers, Vabu Ture and Corian Gibson. So if we miss on Bolden and Woodyard both, that would be a huge kick in the nuts for this safety class. So got to get – I really think we have to get KJ Bolden. I think that would make the class – that would be the feather in the cap. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you got questions, comments. Hit me up. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.